So if y'all would like to donate, you can. But see, there's a ancient science, and this is something that a lot of the mankind, they just couldn't understand this, you know. But it's not necessarily about the stuff that you mix it. The stuff that you mix together in your cauldron is very important. You know, remember, working with your cauldron, with your mate. This is the highest vibrational form of having sex. Remember, I talked about that. The highest version of having sex is when you and your mate get together and y'all create a cauldron. You know, and then you take some things and you put it in the cauldron. She takes some things and put it in the cauldron, and then when y'all mix it up, it's very. And this is the one thing that a lot of us don't have now. So it's like the soul food is not even the same as it was back in the day. It was yeah. Everything that you heard was true. You know, the slaves, they were using the parts of the animals that the slave master would throw out. And a lot of these things is where soul food originated from, where soul food came from. But see, it was one ingredient that was added to the soul food that made it so good. And that ingredient was love. You know? Love. Think about how early in the morning. You know, think about how early in the morning the old grandmother had to get up so she can get ready to cook. You know, and then let's go back even further. You know, when we had our own gardens and we had our own farms. So first you had to grow the food. You had to take care of the garden. You had to grow the food. Then you had to pick the food. You know, you had to pick the beans and you had to pick the squash and you had to pick the greens and all of that stuff. Then you had to wash it. You know, then you had to wash it. You know, make sure that it was clean, you know. And then you had to season it. You know, season the food, you know. And then you had to cook it on low. Now, picture a kid, a hungry kid looking at this and you know the food was smelling real good. The food is smelling extremely good. And you got to put your gratification to the side. Lilith principle, you know, a lot of women, you know, the older women, they never forgot the Lilith principle. They did what thy wilt. Preserves. Yep. You know, you had to wait all the way to the evening time till all the food got done, because you knew if you tried to stick your finger in that pot while the food was cooking, grandmama would backhand slap you, you know, because she was teaching you in her own way. She was teaching you about how we used to create in our cauldrons. We created soul food. We created soul food with the cauldron, you know. And when we would eat this food, no matter what type of food it was, yep. And then you would have to hunt to get the meat, yeah. So it was a lot. It took a lot. It takes a lot to make good soul food. You know, a lot of things that we don't even do no more because we're so comfortable with going to the store. You know, we're so comfortable with going to the grocery store and getting food at the store. But when you would eat grandma's cooking, you know, shout out to Kwame Brown, grandma cooking. When you would eat grandma's cooking, or you would eat mama's cooking, you know, it wasn't even really about the food, really. It was about the love that was put in that food. Like you taste that food, you can tell that food, that mother, that grandmother had a lot of love in that food, you know. And that's the difference between soul food and fast food. That's the difference between soul food and fast food, because there's no love in it, you know. And since a lot of these ladies today aren't taught about that, you know, this is the reason why they would try to replicate what their grandmama did, but it just don't taste the same. It just don't hit. It just don't taste the way it used to taste, you know, because that was the biggest thing, that unconditional assurance, that blessed assurance. She would put that blessed assurance in the food, just like how you're supposed to put blessed assurance in your cauldron and mix that in, you know. And this is what creates food for the soul. So even though you know, now we're slaves, you know, we're in a whole different land and all of this, we never forgot those things. And if we go even further, you know, we can also use this to correlate and talk about how we were able to heal different ailments. You know, how you can take somebody that's paralyzed and make some soul food for that person, and then now they're able to walk. And you know, it's so deep. It's real deep. It's real deep. So when it came to Granny never made nachos, exactly. Nachos, tacos, you know, none of that type of stuff. You know? So one of the mating rituals that that Yemoya taught to her daughters. And this is how a lot of her daughters you know, would use their magnetism in order to attract different gods to want to mate with them. You know, they would be in the water. And they would use their curvy bodies to make these ripples. They would use their curvy bodies to make ripple waves. You know, they would move in a spiral and make these ripple waves in the ocean or in the pond. And this was kind of like, look at me. She would make these, it's kind of like a fish, you know, making these ripple waves to let you know, like, look, you know, pick me, you know, I'm here, pick me. Now, once these daughters of Oshun grew legs, and then they came on land, and they wanted to go into the forest, and they wanted to mate with the gods that were in the forest, that were beamed down in the forest. You know, they would do this dance, because it's dancing now. First it was swimming, but they would do this dance where they would move their curvy bodies in a spiral. And in the water, this created a pulse. Get where I'm going with this? In the water, this created a pulse, a beat. It created a pulse, you know, and she would manipulate this pulse, and you know, this is what would appease these gods to want to mate with them. So this is another thing that women never forgot. This, they never forgot how to do it, but they forgot what it was initially used for. It was used to attract gods to them, you know. And it's funny. It's funny because every culture, every culture has these same mating rituals, that came from Atlantis, that came from Atlantean mermaid goddesses, where you would move your body, you as a woman, you would move your hips and you would move in a spiral, and this would make the men, this would make the gods, this would make the gods heartbeat fast. This would make the man's heartbeat fast, and once the man's heartbeat fast, his dick get on hard, and remember, the women, the goddesses, y'all have a cauldron in between y'all legs too, so now she's looking for the right stick to put into her cauldron, to mix, to be able to mix it up and create worlds with it, so this I'm trying to break this down to show y'all, I'm trying to break this down to really explain to y'all where we got this stuff from. It may sound weird, it may sound crazy, but just go with, go with me, and that's what it was. Remember, how gods and goddesses made it. It was like dancing. How gods and goddesses made it, because only in the physical world do you have a dick and a pussy. Let's only in the physical world do we have that. In the astral plane, in the spiritual world, we danced together, and we still do this now in the club, where you would have a girl, a twerk song will come on, she'll start twerking, or she'll start kind of moving her hips. She got a fat ass, she got little waist, nice ass, nice body, looking like a grown-up Oshun coming out the water, curvy body. All the daughters of Oshun had curvy bodies, because they were in the water. So you had to have a curvy body, because your body was in the shape of the waves and the vibrations. I hope y'all can get this, So when a woman in the club, she started twerking, she started whining, whine and go down, she started doing that. And then, there's a sense, there's like a sense, a pulse. There's an invisible pulse that gets sent out. And depending on the god that have the most self-confidence, to have the most charisma, the god that's able to create a big wave, the biggest wave, and you seen this, you seen girls, they'll dance in a club, they'll be twerking, and then a dude get behind her, and something in her, make her just turn around and be like, nah, not you, or they'll just stop dancing, nah, not you. That's an equivalent of fishing, but from a goddess perspective. Because remember what I said, in the Lilith principle, the woman had a huge responsibility in the worlds that she created. So she wasn't just mating with just anybody. Only other gods and the goddesses, they knew that about themselves. So that god that had that big enough wave, big enough brand about himself, that big enough self-confidence, that big enough charisma, the one that's just gonna, go up to her, and he already got within his mind, yeah, she's the one I'm taking home tonight. And he moves like that. He don't even gotta be the most attractive dude in the club, but you'll see him. He'll go behind her real smooth, go behind her, and he's matching her energy. He'll move in a wave along with her. So it ain't like he just standing in one spot. He's moving in a wave along with her. I don't know who this person is. Remove them. And so they make a wave, you know, and this wave, you know, sometimes depending on how beautiful the goddess is, you know, depending on how magnetic, depending on how magnetic the god is, you know, they'll end up creating a wave so big that everybody in the club make a circle. Everybody in the club make a circle, and now it's just them two dancing on the dance floor. Have y'all seen this? You know, have y'all seen this in like Caribbean clubs or stuff like that, to where you would have this real fine girl with a red dress, you know, real fine girl, and she just dancing by herself, and none of the dudes feel like that they can pull her. None of the dudes feel like that they got what it takes to keep up with her, you know. Yep, you're moving that way. Yep, that's true. And then that one dude, he got the balls. That one dude, he got the balls to go up to her and start dancing. You know, he waits till the right song come on. You know, he waits till she's really, really getting it in, and then he'll go up behind her and start dancing with her. You know, and everybody else is like, damn, ooh, go, yo, you know, and the ladies, they're like, hey, you know, all of this is Atlantean stuff, you know, sirens, you know, sirens. This is all Atlantean stuff, and I'm gonna talk about the sirens too. And then you look around, and everybody has made a circle around y'all two. So now she really going in. She really, you know, she really flapping around, you know. And the dude, you know, he gotta be able to keep up. He gotta be able to keep up with that wave. Now, if this guy is a baby issue that understands everything about the baby Oshun, not only is he going to be able to keep up with her, but he's also going to be able to add his own moves in, and it's going to fit like a hand in a glove. So all of a sudden, she whining on him, she twerking on him, and all of a sudden he turn her around and pick her up. And now everybody's really going crazy, like, BandClap, you know. He picking her up, and now they're reverse cowgirl, doing a little reverse cowgirl dance. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you've been to a Jamaican club. They do the little reverse cowgirl dance, and now it's just this. It's just a highlight of the night. You know. Now, if he's able to keep this same energy with his game, with his voice, and he's able to talk to her, and he's able to talk that game. That's what we call it, you know, talking game. You know, chances are he's gonna be the one to leave with her. Chances are he'll be the one that'll leave with her, and whatever happens that night, even if she got a man. Sometimes the energy can be so strong that it'll just overtake her. You know, she wake up the next morning and she in his bed. And she like, damn, what'd I just do? All right, y'all, I'm back. So, again, I'm just showing y'all how things transitioned from the Atlantean age until the age that we're in now. You know, and these are like I said, you know, these are the things that when the baby Oshun is in the forest with Eshu, you know, very, very core divine feminine things. He has to make sure that she knows this stuff. Now, another thing that I didn't talk about yesterday was about another thing that a lot of baby Oshuns learn on Mama Chola Boulevard definitely is how to sing. A lot of baby Oshuns can sing their ass off, you know, because their voice before they had a voice like we know them now, you know, their voice was like a frequency wave. You know, why do you think that if women learn how to train their voice to sing, they can sing so loud and they can raise their vibration of their voice up so high that it can make glass crack. You know, it can crack glass. A woman can sing so loud it can crack glass. You know, that's very important, because this is what the baby Oshun would use if she got in trouble, or if she needed assistance from Yemoya while she's in the forest. And she will make her voice sound real high, like a siren. You know, hey, 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 woo, 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 woo. You know, same shit. Why you think police officers and medical vehicles have sirens on them? Fire trucks have sirens on them. You know, it's to alert everybody to get out the way because help is coming. You know, so when the baby Oshun starts to cry and she starts to scream real loud, the world stops, and the Zarbanda warriors, they stand at attention. They ready to fight for her. You know, we've always had this protective energy with our women, and that never stopped. It's just that in this day and time, like I said yesterday, everything that Zarbanda represents has a white face on it. The black man's protection is no longer looked at as the strongest protection in the world no more. You know? So that's a really big thing. You know, that's something else that got changed over.